Now the news in detail. The sentencing of a man who pleaded guilty to multiple sexual offenses against the minors was pushed back to September when he appeared in the St. Mary's Circuit Court on Wednesday. Sheridan Shepherd, who was charged in June 2021 with 6 counts of buggery, 5 counts of indecent assault, and 1 count of grievous sexual assault, was expected to be sentenced on Wednesday. However, according to the Gleaner Online, reports suggest that the sentencing did not take place after he changed his guilty plea, alleging that he was instructed to plead guilty. However, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn, dismissed that report and insisted that the guilty plea was still on record. The case is now set for September 27 in the Home Circuit Court. The Westmoreland Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of 2 women and injury of more than 20 persons when a public passenger vehicle in which they were traveling plunged down a hillside along the Seaford Town Main Road in Westmoreland on Wednesday. Reports from the Bethel Town Police were that the crash occurred shortly after 7 a.m. They indicated that the driver of the passenger bus, which plies the Berkshire District Montego Bay Road, lost control of the vehicle while traveling easterly and ran off the road. Dead is 23-year-old Yasmin Nikisha Carr, a nurse of Dundee District, and 32-year-old Melissa Ricketts, a housekeeper of Berkshire District, both in Westmoreland. Both women died on the spot. The others, including the driver, sustained injuries and were rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay St. James for treatment. 5 of them were considered to have life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, defense lawyers in the Klansman Wandon gang trial on Wednesday morning continue to attack on the credibility of one of the prosecution's main witness, with one attorney branding him a liar. Kadan Crooks tells us more.
Akuna Noble, during her closing argument today, urged the court to find that the ex-gangster was not a witness of truth. She also asked the judge to find that her client, Dwight Jim Brown Hall, was not a member of the gang or was involved in the murder of 2 men at a netball court in Rivoli St. Catherine. Noble pointed out that the witness had named her client among men who were allegedly seen beating the 2 men on the night in question. However, she argued that the fact that he had also named defendant Pete Miller, whose prison records have shown to have been in jail at the time, proves that his account cannot be trusted. She also contended that there were inconsistencies in his testimony. Noble said, although the witness had indicated that he was able to see what was happening at the netball court with the help of light coming from nearby houses. Under cross-examination, he was able to state definitively where the light source was located. She also noted that he had testified that their client was a Don and that he run things, but later walked back his comment by saying Hall no control no way. According to her, not only is his evidence corroborated, but there are several serious inconsistencies in his account. Meanwhile, the attorney for defendant Kevon Green, the brother of reputed leader Andre Blackman Bryan, argued that the prosecution has not led any evidence to prove that he was a member of the gang or that the gang existed. Shannon Clark said the witness account that her client had escorted his brother to the house and was there playing a video game does not prove that he was a gang member. According to the attorney, no evidence was presented to establish that Green had participated in any plot to murder anyone, was involved in any gang meeting, or had extorted anyone. She too asked the court to find her client not guilty of being a gang member. Clark also urged the judge to bear in mind that one of the prosecution witnesses did not mention her client in any of his numerous statements or first spoke about him in court. She then urged the judge to find that the material omission renders the credibility of the witness unreliable. From the Suncity News Center, I'm Kadian Crooks.
You're listening to Morning News on Suncity 104.9 FM. The time is now 9 minutes after 7, and we continue with regional news. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt announced on Tuesday that Dominica had entered into an agreement for the establishment of an offshore medical school in the island. It has been nearly 4 years since Ross University left Dominica for Barbados under controversial circumstances after having been on the island for the past 40 years. During the delivery of the budget speech in Parliament on Tuesday, Skerritt said since the departure of Ross, the government had since received several expressions of interest to establish a medical school in the north of the island. Skerritt added that the school will offer a 4-year medical degree designed for students who have already completed bachelor degrees and will be run by an experienced team comprising doctors who have held positions at major universities in the United States, including a former vice president of operations of the Ross University School of Medicine. Skerritt said most of the students are expected to come from Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean, and initial preparations for a September 2023 commencement have started and will accelerate over the next few months. He urged all Dominicans to be prepared for the opportunities which will be created with the return of a medical school to Portsmouth, as he is optimistic about the potential of the new school and its positive impact on Dominica and on the people in the north in particular. On the international scene, at least 5 people have been killed and about 50 others injured on the second day of demonstrations in Congo's eastern city of Goma against the United Nations mission in the country, according to a government official. The United Nations confirmed that 1 peacekeeper and 2 international policemen serving with the UN peacekeeping force were killed and another injured at the UN base in Butembo in North Kivu province in the east when violent attackers snatched weapons from Congolese police and fired on the UN personnel. UN Deputy Spokesman Farhan Haq said reports of civilian casualties, people's killings, and injuring civilians would be investigated. He said that on Tuesday, hundreds of assailants again attacked bases on the UN force, known by its French acronym MONUSCO, in Goma, as well as other parts of North Kivu, fueled by hostile remarks and threats made by individuals and groups against the UN, particularly on social media. Hack said mobs are throwing stones and petrol bombs, breaking into bases, looting and vandalizing, and setting facilities on fire. In addition, Hack said at least 4 incidents targeted the residences of MONUSCO staff who have now been relocated to UN camps. And a mob also tried to enter the compound on the UN Development Program early on Tuesday, but was repelled by security guards. Demonstrators on Monday had set fires and forced entry into the UN mission offices in Goma, accusing the peacekeeping forces of failing to protect civilians amid rising violence in Congo's eastern region. They are calling for the UN forces present in Congo for years to leave. Protesters blamed shots fired by the peacekeepers for the deaths. Congo's mineral-rich east is home to myriad rebel groups, and the region's security has worsened despite a year of emergency operations by a joint force of the armies of Congo and Uganda. Civilians in the east have also had to deal with violence from jihadi rebels linked to the Islamic State group. In June 2021 and June 2022, the peacekeeping mission closed its office in Congo's Kasai, Central, and Tanganyika regions. The mission has more than 16,000 uniformed personnel in Congo, according to the UN. The protests are taking place as fighting has escalated between Congolese troops and the M23 rebels, forcing nearly 200,000 people to flee their homes. The M23 forces have shown increased firepower and defense capabilities, according to a report by Human Rights Watch. And now for news in sports. With the World Athletics Championships recently coming to an end, Jamaica and other Caribbean athletes now shift their focus to the Commonwealth Games. The Jamaica Athletics Administration Association, J3As, on Wednesday announced the country's track and field team to the Games. Here's more on that story. Track and field at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham begins on Tuesday, August 2, and the Jamaica Athletics Administration has named a 47-member team of athletes to participate. Jamaica's team to the Commonwealth Games include the likes of Akeelia Smith, Akeem Bloomfield, Conroy Jones, Daniel Williams, Daniel Thomas Dodd, Elaine Thompson-Era, Frederick Dacus, Ansel Parchment, Jael Hyde, Genevieve Russell, Javon Francis, Javon Powell, Jordan Scott, Janelle Brumfield, Kadrian Golson, Kareem Bartley, Kemar Bailey Cole, Kemar Mowat, Kemba Nelson, Kimberly Williams, Kimberly Williamson, Lamara Diston, Lloydrika Cameron, Megan Tapper, Natalia White, Natasha Morrison, Nathan Allen, Natoya Gould, Navaski Anderson, Nigel Ellis, Adane Richards, Orlando Bennett, Rashid Broadbell, Rashid Dwyer, Ramona Burchell, Rajay Stoner, Romaine Beckford, Renisha McGregor, Rachel Clayton, Shanika Ricketts, Sean D. Thompson, Sharika Jackson, Cheyenne Salmon, Stephanie Ann McPherson, Tiffany James, and Travis Michael.
Isn't it good that there's in a world of price increases? Isn't it good that there's a place to escape? Shop on credit at Singer and get furniture, appliances, and electronics on a payment plan that you can afford. Get 4 months for cash, 9 months no interest, or up to 36 months to pay. Singer, a plan for every pocket. Credit made easy. Shop today. The time brought to you by Singer is...
The time is now 16 minutes after 7, and we continue with the business news. Motorists should see a decrease at the pumps in the prices of gasoline and diesel effective today, Thursday, July 28, according to the latest ex-refinery cost from Petrojam. With both grades of gasoline down by 25 cents, 87-octane gasoline will be sold for $214.14 per liter, and 90-octane gasoline will be sold for $219.16 per liter. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $229.51 per liter after a decrease of 25 cents, while ultra-low sulfur diesel will be sold for $232.25 per liter, also down by 25 cents. Kerosene also increased in price by 25 cents and will be sold for $203.80 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $67.09 per liter, up by 15 cents. And butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $75.56 per liter after an increase of 25 cents. Marketing companies and retailers are expected to add their respective markups to the announced prices. And in foreign exchange trading news, the foreign exchange trading ended with $1 retailing for $154.26. The Canadian dollar closed the trading day at $120.85, while the pound sterling retails at $186.22. And that's it for news and sports from the Suncity News Center at this time. Do join us again at midday for more news on this station. Do remember to follow us on our socials on Instagram and Twitter. Look for us at Suncity104.9 FM and on Facebook at Suncity Radio104.9 FM. I'm Jada Francis from the Suncity News Center. Do stay tuned for more right here on the Suncity Morning Show.
That was the morning news on the Suncity Morning Show.